Hello, broadcasters. Welcome to episode 164 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. My name is Geige, and I'm here with Dan, of course. Dan, how are you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. It's been a pretty good week here at StreamYard. For anyone new here, Dan and I are the founders of StreamYard. We do these town halls every single Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we do them for a few reasons. One is to stay in tune with all of you, go through the same flow that all of you do with your own shows. Two is to answer any of your questions. So if there's any topics you'd like us to touch on tonight, feel free to leave it in the chat. We love discussing the details of the product with you, and if there's anything in general. So feel free to do that. We'll do our best to get to all of them. And then I always mention the three pillars of StreamYard, which are ease of use, stability, and professional stream. So if you're about those three things, StreamYard is the tool for you. See people tune in from all over the world. We got GTJR from Alaska. I think I saw Colombia in here. Very cool. Virginia. Nice to see all of you guys tuning in. Before I forget, we have lots of awesome shows at StreamYard. We also have a new graphic to show what's coming this week. But just a quick overview. We got the StreamYard Spotlight the second Thursday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's a show with Dana and Kelsey where they feature people like you from the community and how they're having success with streaming. So if you're looking for inspiration and to see how other people are doing it, definitely check that out. Or if you'd like to be featured, reach out to Dana at contact@streamyard.com. We have YouTube channel reviews with Dee and Daniel the second Saturday of every month. A really great show with actionable specific feedback on individual channels. So if you're looking to get started on YouTube, really interesting to see what pros like Daniel and Dee, who have really large channels and followings, say about things like what kind of thumbnails, how often to post, the banner for the channel, all those types of things. We have Enhance Your Live Streaming the last Tuesday of every month with Nick Nimmin. Definitely a live streaming pro. These are great actionable tips when it comes specifically to live streaming, so be sure to catch that. We have live streaming reviews the first and third Saturday at noon PST with Christian and Charles. Fun show where they hang out for a couple hours on Saturday, giving live feedback on live streams. And then for everything else, we have open office hours, 11 a.m. Eastern, Tuesday, first and third week with Julie and Mel in the Facebook community group. And then a quick snapshot of what you'll see during the week. We'll put it up there. You can see of those shows, the ones that are happening this week, right up there.
Cool.
And then we've also been doing fun facts. So the fun fact for this week, we've been doing it so we get to know a little bit more about you guys. You get to know a little bit more about us. It was first memory. What's your very first memory, Dan?
Yeah, that's a tough one, isn't it? I don't know if anyone really truly knows what their first memory was. I definitely have a lot of early memories, though. One, when I was thinking about this, first one for me is I remember playing hockey in my parents' garage and just kind of, born in Canada, played at a pretty young age, but I remember specifically trying to stick handle and just kind of like smashing the stick on both sides of the ball. So that's an early one for me, but there's a lot. How about you?
Cool. Like you, it's hard to know what the actual first one was. Definitely one of the earliest ones was building a treehouse with my dad was an early one that I remember and cherish.
Cool.
I see we have some questions. So one of those was, Dan says, lately I've been setting up stream pre-record video, but it ends up not streaming. If you reach out to support, Dan, streamyard.com/contact, there's a live chat. They can help you troubleshoot to know what might be happening there. Virtual Education Academy says, stream from Microsoft is similar to YouTube. How do you broadcast to stream? So I'm not super familiar with Stream, but I know Microsoft Teams has some live streaming features in addition to, I have heard of it before. I assume Stream works like the other Microsoft streaming software like there is in Teams, where you can just grab the RTMP information directly from that program and put it in StreamYard. We don't have a direct integration with it, but you can go there with custom RTMP. I assume. I know you can with Teams. Do you know anything about Stream, Dan?
No, not much. But yeah, a custom RTMP destination on StreamYard should work for that.
Cool. Let's go with Joanne Banco says, I like the channel name. I was perusing some of the tutorials on StreamYard and wondered if some of the older ones will be updated at some point. Yes, absolutely. We're actually in the process of updating them for 2022 now. So stay tuned for that, Joanne.
Cool.
Hey, Tim, nice to see you here. It's been a minute. Michelle Media says the music we were playing keeps getting blocked. How can we get a music license, etc.? So getting a license is depending on the song, it can be a complicated process, Michelle, one that I'm not intimately familiar with. But I know YouTube has some good documentation on some of the processes there. The easiest thing is to just use the music that the platforms provide rather than the stuff that requires sort of the complicated copyright stuff. But it's not an easy process. I would consult the info that whatever platform you're streaming to that you're having the issues, I would consult their documentation, but it definitely can be difficult.
Yeah, and I'd also be curious what type of music it is. Like, is this something you've created yourself? Is this something that is copyrighted, created by some famous musician? Is it like exactly where did you get it? That is kind of what Geige said. That is why we have the background music on StreamYard just baked in, and we know you're not going to have issues with those tracks. So hopefully you can at least use those. But I get, maybe you want to have like something you wrote yourself on there. That stuff can be tricky because sometimes it'll get flagged even if it shouldn't.
See some cool early memories. One from Itty Bitty Micro Farm, having the pigs knocking on the house door. Very cool.
That's pretty funny.
We have David was backyard wrestling in the neighbor's garage, fitting to the channel. David, I think you've got the wrestling channel. Very cool.
Cool.
Let's see. Cayman says, question. So we use the pre-recorded MF for the evening news. Sometimes it's super quick on the upload and other time it crawls. Does not appear to be connected to time/file size. Any ideas? I would assume it's probably related to the quality of the connection you have, Cayman. Do you have any thoughts on it, Dan?
Yeah, it should be mostly tied to what you said, time and file size. Might be worth actually contacting support if you don't mind. If you can even send them those files, they can maybe look into that. Maybe there's some weirdness there. It should be fairly closely tied. And then obviously, like Geige said, internet speed. Some people's speed does waver a lot, so it might be faster at certain times, slower at other times. But yeah, we can look into that more for you.
Cool. Vinny says, when I download recording sessions with the separate audio files, they sometimes become out of sync in editing software. Any fixes for this? That's something we do try to prevent in the recording, Vinny. So if you could also reach out to support with the link to the broadcast IDs where you're experiencing it, that would be appreciated. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
No, that's always something we're looking to see if we can make that better as well.
Cool. Myrtle Beach says, any timeline when hotkeys will be available for overlays and video clips? Sorry, Todd Cartner. Any thoughts on that one, Dan?
So we don't have a timeline yet. It's something that we actually mentioned before in these town halls. If you've seen them, we're definitely very interested in that and trying to explore what is the absolute best way to do it. There's actually a few different options we're sort of exploring for how to achieve sort of the goal of why you want that. So no timeline yet, but we are actively exploring it.
Cool. I'm going to struggle to pronounce that one. I'll just say phone. Do you have a plan to put intros and outros, I assume that's VODs, before and after live streaming? We do want to make that process easier, Fawn. So right now, the way to do it is similar to what we did for this town hall, where you can start with an overlay, play a video as you start the stream, and then when you end the stream, similar to what we do, put up an overlay image and then play the video. But we're always trying to make things as easy as possible. So it's something our designers are actively exploring, is what's the simplest way that we can make that process easier for folks. So don't know exactly how we'll implement it or when that will ship, but it's something that we absolutely want to improve.
Yeah, there is some trickiness. Like it can start at slightly different times on different platforms. But yeah, definitely open adding something like that.
Cool. Tamika says, will you be able to add a clap sound in the background music section? So right now it's just the preset clips, Tamika, but we are working on making it where you can upload anything you like. And once you can upload anything you like, you'd be able to upload something like a clap sound.
Yep.
RLCC says, any chance for integrating with Church Online? I'm not super familiar with Church Online, RLCC. Is it like do they offer like a streaming service? Let us know. We're always open to adding more platforms, so we'll have to check it out. That was actually it's a bit more general than platform specifically, but it could include channels that we wanted to ask all of you tonight. Was any new integrations you'd like to see? It's been a while since we asked. Some of the ones that used to come up frequently in the past were integrations with things like slides, but we actually have that now with the slide sharing feature. Calendly, which we don't actually have a calendar integration yet, but that was one that came up a lot. But yeah, just curious in general if any types of integrations you'd like to see, even if it's stuff that's a bit out there, like, maybe the ability to like import tweets or just anything that you'd actually find useful. Would be very curious. Dave says, thanks as always for the awesomeness that is SY. Thanks, Dave. It's kind of you. We'd love to have the number of brands increased from 10 to 25 on the pro plan. I run a number of broadcasts, some weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, and have had to wipe out some of the brands to make way for new projects. Thanks. Yeah, definitely something we're open to, Dave, maybe even more on both plans. We just tried to pick a number that we figured most people wouldn't run into, but something we're open to.
Yep. I'd also be interested, Dave, do you have so many brands because you have very different types of shows, or do you have so many because you just have a ton of assets, you want to sort of spread them out? Like, is it really just you sort of have one brand and a ton of stuff inside of that? Or do you have like very distinct different shows?
Matt says you can indeed send an RTMP feed to Microsoft Stream. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. Leo says, any chance StreamYard will implement sharing portion of a screen, not the entire screen? It's always a possibility, Leo. I think one thing that would be required for that is to have a downloadable version of StreamYard. So it might be a ways out, but it's something we're open to. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah, and it is possible for us to do it even without that. It's just going to be really heavy if we did it inside of a browser. But yeah, open to it. It is possible.
Cool. Another one I wanted to mention, I was curious if any of you guys caught the industry showcase last week. We had our first, or no, not our first showcase, but our first showcase specifically featuring community builders and how people have built communities through StreamYard. But curious how many of you attended it and if you enjoyed it and would like to see other sort of community-focused showcases. Daniel says, will there eventually be a feature to do quick edits, like chopping parts of a clip for pre-recorded videos on StreamYard? That's a good question, Daniel. Do you want to talk a bit about that one, Dan?
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely something we're interested in. It's just making it easier for you post-production in general. So you'll probably see something like that. We're always trying to find, like, I can't promise exactly what it will look like, but we're always trying to find ways to do things like that. So yeah.
Cool. Brian says, quick question. To verify that your audio is good, if you're using various audio sources, example, a YouTube video, do you recommend doing a test stream before you actually go live? You can never do it after testing. So if you have time for it, there's definitely never anything wrong with just doing a quick test. Probably don't have to bother if you haven't introduced a new audio source. Like once you've tested once with the types of sounds you're going to be using, you should be good to go. But if it's a new source or you just want to be extra confident, yeah, absolutely, I recommend doing test streams. And we're also hoping to add more features within the studio so you can have a better sense of what's actually going out. Like you obviously have a good sense of what you're hearing within the stream, but we want to give features, give people some functionality that's tucked away that allows the more technical folks to understand what is actually being sent out to the platforms, just to make sure everything is perfect before you go live. All right. Hey, Rob. Hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you for a bit. Vinny says, any plans to increase the backstage capacity? We're always open to it. Vinny, I'd be curious how many people you'd like to see backstage and the types of shows you're doing on StreamYard. But yeah, definitely something we're open to.
Yeah, is it something where you almost kind of have viewers in StreamYard, or do you just have a lot of people you want to have kind of cycled in throughout the show?
All right. Let's see what else we have here. Joe says, we used the giveaway tool for the first time on Friday and it worked great. Is it correct that we can't reset it to choose another winner? We have to open up a new tab and re-enter the info?
You should be able to
run it again, right?
Yeah. Okay. So in the top right corner, Joe, after you've run it, there's I can't remember what it says. Actually, we'll see when we do it. So right after the draw today, when we do it, you'll see something in the top right corner of my screen that says, draw again, I think, something like that. You click that, you can just keep going. You could get the same winner again. Some people have asked about that. But you could always just kind of like, oh, okay, no, let's just do it again. So you should be able to just keep going.
Cool. T-shirts matter says, could you do a demo of the giveaway feature? Yeah, we'll actually we'll do a giveaway tonight, and you can see how it works. T-shirts matter, and if you go to StreamYard.com/giveaway, there's a video too. Like if you want to see it from sort of the user side of how it works, there's a video right on that page walking through it.
Yep.
Joanne says, really love the new feature for adding slides. Thanks for adding that. Of course, glad you're enjoying it, Joanne. Did find that compressing pictures in my PowerPoint helped to meet the required file size. I'd be curious how big. We weren't sure how what the average size would be of slide decks. We obviously have some data now that we can look at, but yeah, hopefully we can increase the file size in the future.
Yeah. There does tend to be some super large images in PowerPoint files once in a while.
Luke says, Hopin has just released a load of accessibility features. Will these work on StreamYard as well? Depends on what features you're referring to, Luke, if you could let us know. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah. If you're using StreamYard with Hopin, but if it's certain types of improvements, no, just because they are, fairly separate products. But that is also something we're always working on StreamYard is accessibility improvements. Assuming by accessibility, you're talking, anyone who has site issues or anything like that where they have trouble using the website, making that better. That's always something we're working on ourselves. And yeah, Hopin's gotten much better at it recently as well.
Cool. Hey, Elizabeth, nice to see you here. It's been a while since we've seen you. Hope you're doing well. Are there any plans to be able to pause a recording when you're just recording a video? Yep, absolutely. That one's been coming up more and more frequently as I think more and more people are starting to use the recording functionality. Yeah, we definitely want to make that process easier. I know right now having to do it all in like sort of one take is not always ideal. So yes, that is a version of that is being worked on. Let's see what else we have here. Just one question while I continue going through these that I want to ask. It's been a while since we asked, but we like to check in every once in a while. Are there any changes that you guys would like to see the town halls? Like right now, they're weekly, every 30 minutes. Would you prefer it if maybe we did them more like an event where it was more infrequent and we did it like maybe monthly for an hour or even quarterly for like several hours? Just curious what you think of them, if there's anything you'd like to see us do differently when it comes to the town halls. More guests. We used to have guests on once in a while, but it's been a super long time since we've actually had a guest. Just curious if you guys have any feedback.
Yeah. Any other things you'd like us to add? Anything you'd like us to get rid of?
Cool. Amit says, when the audience comments from other languages supported by FB, the characters appear as just tiny boxes. So we try to support as many languages as we can, Amit, but occasionally there is one that isn't in our system yet. If you just reach out to support with the language that's missing, it's actually pretty easy for us to add new languages. So just reach out to support and we can look into adding that language for you. Vinny says, easier ways to integrate OBS would be fantastic. It's good to know. Vinny, I'd be really curious the type of stuff you're doing with OBS in combination with StreamYard, so we can have a better sense of like the types of integrations we could build out. Good to know. Barb says, feature, be able to tweet out live from studio with Geige of what's on screen automatically generated and included with the tweet. That's a cool one. One of the ones that we have considered is like importing tweets, but actually going out with tweets is definitely cool. Good to thank you for the request. Let's see. Hi to you, Cherry. Nice to see you here. Sean says, my audio isn't in sync. It's like an old Kung Fu movie. So Sean, if you reach out to support, they'll be the best ones to handle that. It can be a combination of things. If you're using, sometimes it's something as simple. If you're using like a USB, like an older USB hub, that can sometimes cause issues. So if you just go through, our docs have a lot of steps as well. And if you just go through those troubleshooting steps, 99% of the time you'll find it there.
Yeah, it should be some kind of like hardware or Chrome problem or that type of thing. I love the description though.
Yeah,
those things are pretty funny.
Andy says, my wife wants to know if you have a touch-up feature planned. Stay tuned on that. We do have the virtual backgrounds, which works in a similar way. So we likely will at some point have a touch-up feature, Andy. All right, let's see if there's any feedback on the town hall. April says, tell your wife she doesn't need any touching up.
Aw.
Fair enough. That's good feedback. Conwell says, is it possible to get individual recordings on each participant after the live stream? For the audio, yes. So on Pro, on the audio, you can get each individual track.
Yep.
Woody appreciates that they're weekly. Good to know.
Cool.
Beauty Bubble says, never change the town halls. Appreciate that. Change can be good sometimes. Maybe it could be different.
Yeah, we're always just trying to check and see like what is actually best here, just to make sure. When some people will get stuck in a rhythm and then not really question anything about it at all, and like, oh, is this actually the best way to do this? Maybe it's more often, like maybe 3 times a week is better, but I think that might be too much. I like the regularity of same time every week. Seems to have worked well for us.
Tristan says, Blab used to do a short GIF of the last few seconds when tweeting. Love that in SY. That's a cool idea. Like a quick promo of the stream you just did. I'll have to look at that. That's a cool idea. Jack says, forgive me if this is an old question that you've already answered. Does StreamYard play well with virtual camera apps? Yeah, any virtual camera app, Jack, you can bring into StreamYard. If you just in the camera settings, it should just appear as a drop-down and should work fine that way. Also works with the multi-camera feature now. So if you have a virtual cam that you want to bring in as a second camera, you can do that too. Tom says, I have a use case where we have a live view backpack, which I'd like to be able to bring in as an RTMP source into StreamYard. Will something like that ever be a thing? Likely that will be a thing. Tom, we'd like to offer more support when it comes to both hybrid events and things where you're actually streaming, in real life. So that is something that you'll likely see in StreamYard. Any other thoughts on that one, Dan?
No, I think you got it.
All right, should we go ahead and start queuing up the giveaway for tonight? I didn't realize where we're at time. Some feedback on the sounds like most people are a fan of the format. I appreciate the feedback. Some on the time. It's definitely late for the EU. Maybe at some point we can change it for the EU folks.
Yeah, always a tricky one. Would you try to have a lot of shows earlier in the day, which would work better for the EU? Yeah, I got 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. is a bit light.
Morgana says, when I tried blurred background, I experienced some lag until I turned it off. Do you think that had something to do with the computer or the connection? Almost certainly the computer, Morgana. It does require like some resources on the computer itself to actually create the background. If you reach out to support with your device settings, they'll appreciate the feedback and can look into it further. If you have a really old device, though, there's only so much that we can do about that, but it likely has to do with the computer itself.
Yep.
Making sure you have everything closed out will also help.
Especially if you see yourself kind of lagging out a bit on your own computer, that's very likely to be an issue with device resources and not your internet or anything like that.
All right, looks like most people are familiar with the giveaway tool, but we'll give 10, 15 seconds to get in the hashtag the yard. So if you just type in hashtag the yard on any of the chats, you'll be eligible to win. And tonight we'll give away a StreamYard sweater and that pillow that Dan has. Actually, we've been giving away the pillow every week. Maybe we'll give away the duck this time. I think I actually have a picture of it. It's been a while since we gave away the plush duck. Do we have a picture? Yeah, we'll give away StreamYard Puddles the duck plush and the sweater tonight.
All right.
And for that question that came up earlier with the giveaway, hopefully this gives you a good sense. But again, if you just go to the site, StreamYard.com/giveaway, there's a full video walking through how you can do it with your own streams.
Cool. And you can only enter the draw once, by the way.
Yes, it removes duplicates.
Cool. I think we're good to go.
All right, let's do it.
Good luck, everyone.
Trudy, congrats. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. If you reach out to, actually, Dana, since you're on Facebook, we can contact you directly. So Dana will contact you on Facebook. If you want to be extra certain, if you email contact@streamyard.com as well, Dana will get your info and ship you your brand new StreamYard sweater and Puddles the StreamYard duck. Congrats again.
Cool. And for that question earlier, this is where the draw again button is. Let me actually shrink this. Draw again is just up here. So if you want to run multiple draws in the giveaway tool, you just click this. And like Geige said earlier, for anyone that wants to do a giveaway in your own stream, you can actually just do it yourself at StreamYard.com/giveaway.
Cool. We have time for a couple more questions here. Let me make sure there wasn't any final topics we want. We can get to those ones next week. Let's see if there's any final questions. One I missed earlier. Vinny said, any plans for hotkeys to run scenes/queues? Any thoughts on that one, Dan?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. So something we've explored before and always thought about. We just want to do it in a way where everything works incredibly easily. That's obviously very core to what we do, is everything has to be super simple. So if we did anything like that, we just want to make sure the whole thing was very simple to use. But interested in it.
Leo's curious how you made the screen smaller.
Cool.
Yeah.
So if you're sharing, like in this case, I was sharing a Chrome tab, but it also applies if you're sharing an application. You can just change the size of the Chrome tab or the application, and it will just change the aspect ratio on StreamYard. And it kind of just fills up as much space as possible. Now, obviously, it doesn't work if you're sharing a monitor, but application or Chrome tab, you can just shrink the thing down.
Cool. Lots of congrats for Trudy in the chat. Absolutely. Joe says, I think our logo covered it. Ours was kind of covering it as well, so there's a good chance of that.
Yeah, we kind of try to hide it a little bit just so viewers don't necessarily see it. Like, we want the winning page to be really kind of in your face and like, oh, okay, cool, and very exciting with all the confetti. And then the draw again is kind of up in the corner where only you should really see it, but viewers can't see it as much.
What he says, can you use a Stream Deck for overlays, and if not, is that coming? So with the current hotkeys, it's not a direct integration, but you can use the Stream Deck to trigger the hotkeys that you set in StreamYard. We are looking into a direct integration as well because we know people love the Stream Deck.
And overlays aren't wired up yet for the hotkeys in general, but hopefully sometime soon.
Right, my mistake. Thanks, Tangerine. That's super kind of you. Darren says, can you guys please give us a dump button with a 10 to 15 second dump for broadcasts? Cool. I'd be curious, Darren. My best guess is that it would be similar to like a live broadcast where maybe you have guests in that you haven't really vetted. And if you have like an emergency where they've said something inappropriate, you want to be able to kill that part of the broadcast. If that's right, let me know. I'd appreciate that. But cool. Yeah, theoretically, that's something we could add.
So your kill switch almost?
Yeah, like I don't know what the industry
term black is. For 15 seconds.
Yeah, we did think about that very, very early on. It's definitely possible for us to add. Joanne says, love the easy part of StreamYard. If it gets complicated, you need a StreamYard 2 for advanced users. That's a good point, Joanne. Yeah, we do try to be careful. We're hoping that we can tuck stuff away elegantly, and when people need the advanced stuff, they can sort of toggle it on once they're comfortable.
But yeah, we're pretty obsessed with ease of use and keeping things simple.
All right. There's a couple questions we missed, but we can get to those next time. This was episode 164 of the StreamYard Live Town Hall. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. It's always a pleasure answering your questions and chatting with all of you. We'll see you next week at the same time.
Thanks, everyone. See you next week.